Welcome, and thanks for visiting the American Atheists website. I'm Ellen Johnson, President of American Atheists. Just when you thought that Republicans, and right-wing religious Republicans in particular, couldn't make their political situation any worse, they can now add a scandal which only serves to highlight the hypocrisy of religious politicians who for years have been acting more like arrogant, self-righteous preachers than rational statesmen who are accountable to the people. The political career of Senator David Vitter, a leading Christian conservative from Louisiana, is on the line because of his marital infidelities following an investigation by publisher Larry Flynt. It turns out that Vitter's phone number was in the little black book of D.C. Madam Deborah Jean Palfrey. Vitter fessed up to his marital infidelities and promptly left Washington, missing several important votes. His political handlers are now frantically scrambling to keep his career alive. In typical fashion with religious hypocrites, Senator Vitter, a married father of four, established his political career by being a poster boy for the religious right. He campaigned on all the red meat issues so dear to Pat Robertson and the late Jerry Falwell. Last month, he urged more taxpayer funding of dubious programs preaching sexual abstinence to teenagers, and said that the best way to avoid teen pregnancy was by teaching teenagers that saving sex until marriage and remaining faithful afterwards is the best choice for health and happiness. In June 2006, Vitter made a speech in the Senate supporting an amendment to our Constitution against gay marriage and said it was well overdue that we in the Senate focus on nurturing, upholding, and preserving and protecting such a fundamental social institution as traditional marriage. With the rise of the religious right as a power broker in American politics, the sheer hypocrisy of what is taking place has become simply outrageous. We have preachers like Jim Bakker involved in financial and sexual impropriety, and the Reverend Jimmy Swaggart busy preaching his version of religion-based morality while meeting prostitutes. Remember Ted Haggard, president of the National Association of Evangelicals? He's been linked to an ongoing affair with a male prostitute. A lot of those social conservatives running for president are busy courting religious voting blocs. But whether their names are Giuliani or Gingrich, their backgrounds include divorce or other transgressions against their Bible-based behavior. It's sheer hypocrisy. Oh, and sometimes it's not a scandal. It's a crime against humanity, like the one involving the crimes and cover-up by the Catholic Church over the enormous and widespread sexual molestation of our nation's youth by those who claim to have a monopoly on virtue and morality. The Church is paying out billions of dollars to settle these criminal cases. The Los Angeles Archdiocese, the largest one in the nation, is set to pay out $660 million. It appears that whether it's the church pulpit or the political podium, those who aggressively preach morality and family values and then tie this to a partisan social agenda are often guilty of the very things they denounce. Shakespeare aptly stated it in Hamlet, "The lady doth protest too much, methinks." What makes this all even more outrageous is the selective indignation of many religious conservatives when it comes to behavior by their own mouthpieces, like Senator Vitter. Can you imagine if Bill Clinton's phone number had been in the D.C. Madam's little black book? They tried to impeach him for supposedly covering up his hanky-panky in the Oval Office. Now you have Newt Gingrich conveniently saying that personal misbehavior should be a private, not a public matter. Maybe that's because of Newt's own record on divorce. Ideally, we should focus more on what candidates and elected officials actually do when it comes to running the country instead of the peccadillos in their personal lives. It is and should be none of our business. But when the religious right or the clergy start telling us that religion makes us better people and that our laws should reflect that fact, then they had better be able to back it up. And you don't do it at the expense of atheists. I know that no one is perfect, but we atheists don't demonize everyone else to make ourselves look like we are. When religious Americans tell us that we are going to hell, that there are no atheists in foxholes, that we can't be moral without their belief systems, warns the country of the supposed dangers of secularism and atheism, and tells us to leave the country if we don't like it, then you better believe I'm going to call them on their scandals and crimes. The religious should stop using the government as a vehicle to pander their arrogant, self-righteous attitudes. They end up looking like fools. You can learn more by exploring our website. Click on the link buttons on the left for all sorts of information about atheism and American atheists. Visit our shopping section for our many books and products. And if you agree with what we have to say, we'd like you to join us. Members receive a magazine dedicated just to them. Thanks again for watching.